Welcome back to Business Owners Speak. Today, I am thrilled to have with us Brenda Starr with StarGroup International. Brenda, how are you today?
Wonderful, Matt. Thanks for having me.
No, it's our pleasure. I'm looking forward to learning a little bit about you and the business. So if you could just get started and tell us a little bit about you and how the business came about.
Well, I'm a hillbilly. I came from the hills of Kentucky, beautiful Appalachia, but I got started in business late. I didn't have my first business banking account until I was 5 years old. I had my first business at age 5. I had to sign the bank counter draft from my checking account like that because I was so tiny. But I had my father was very entrepreneurial. He bought a commercial cotton candy machine home and for fun. And I started selling cotton candy and popcorn and Kool-Aid on the sidewalk. And then I started selling door-to-door greeting cards and my brother's toys, if I could find some. I then, at age, 15, started my first ballet school for adults and children. And then at age 17, created a line of jewelry. I had 15 cottage industry workers and we sold and marketed in 3 states. I was cheerleader and editor of the yearbook at that time. Then went to college and during my baby bearing times, I had a syndicated newsletter. I was very into cooking and ethnic foods. Started another dance studio, which wound up when I finished having started 23 different studios.
Wow.
When I was in Shreveport, Louisiana, I learned that this was in the 60s, that there was a young Black girl who was denied enrollment in one of the big ballet schools. So I went to 3 of the largest churches and we started studios, and I had over 100 little Black dancers, 2 of which I understand ended up in New York. After that, then what did I do? Dance schools. Then commercial real estate. Yeah. I had a commercial real estate company statewide. In the 80s, I had over 160 million under contract single-handedly. And then came to West Palm 32 years ago and started a PR marketing and publishing company, which has done extremely well. We sort of took over the market at that time. But when social media came around and I didn't have more control of who would listen for our clients, I really honed in the custom book division because it's so unique and no one else is doing it. The way that we do it, it still becomes a marketing and branding tool. But that's where we are now. And that's what I'm still doing and love it.
Well, that's it. That's all you've done, Brenda.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about starting a business.
Well, that's amazing. And good for you for quite the storied career. And, opening that many different businesses takes a lot of different skills. So very impressive. So tell us why you kind of moved towards the custom book division. So when social media came back and you had a couple different areas of expertise, why did you gravitate towards the books?
Well, we were doing books in the very beginning, and that started when kind of accidentally. I was I don't know if you've heard. Well, you're in healthcare, so you've heard of Hippocrates Health Institute, the raw food wheatgrass movement. I was a guest there for 3 weeks, and being a very serious cook and food writer at that time, got to know the chef very well and was surprised when we left because you only eat raw foods. Nothing is cooked. I was surprised when it was time to go home that we were given no instructions to continue the program and no recipes. So the chef and I thought it would be a great idea to put together a book. I'd never done a book. I was doing PR and marketing at that time. We went to Brian, the owner, and he thought it was a great idea. We said, will you take all the books because we don't know what to do with them? And he did, and he loved it, and mailed them across the country to the media. And the media started calling me as if I was this medical expert. So I realized immediately that books can be incredible media tools. We did hundreds of books when we were full service, but now we really just do custom books for marketing, media, and fundraising. We help with the concept development. We have ghostwriters, we have editors, proofreaders, designers, printers, illustrators. We do it from beginning to end. And the most important part, I think, is with the concept development. A lot of business people say they want a book, but they don't know, they don't know how to write, they don't know what to say. They just want a book. They realize what an incredible marketing tool it can be. And an excellent example of that is an orthodontist who wanted to do a book. And we kept thinking, how exciting could a book be on braces? So we created a fun book, 101 Reasons to Smile. And he gifted 10,000 to middle school graduates in Wellington. And it was a beautiful book that everybody loved. And of course, there were 12 pages in the back about him. He said it was the most creative and profitable thing he'd ever done. So we help a lot of people just figure out how to use a book creatively to brand themselves and market themselves. Nonprofits love it because it helps describe what they really, really do, show the people that they help, and explain their need and how they need financial support or volunteer support.
Sure. So who would be a good prospect for you right now? Anybody that's trying to do, that has a nonprofit or is trying to raise money, or kind of walk us through your key focus there.
Well, all of that. We do a lot of books for development. Once again, to explain what you have or what you're looking for or what you need. For nonprofits, I explained that. Businesses, we've done several books for physicians. We did a book for an attorney, literally from a tri-fold brochure, and then filled it in. We have researchers. We've done art books. Why don't I have my helper here do a slight scan around?
Sure.
Sandy Thompson is the Palm Beach artist. It's a beautiful art book. This is Bruce Heelander's book. If you'll just keep turning, I'll just keep talking. Nova University, we help them celebrate their 50th anniversary. Cosmetic dentist in New Jersey, said this got him international media for over 5 years. Edna Hibble, her life story. The story of Vince Naimale starting the Tampa Bay Rays in Tampa. We've done 2 books for Goodwill, their 35th anniversary and their 50th. It was so successful, they did both years. This, we mentioned Scott. These are,
bring it up,
Scott Greenberg's book. And a book is a tool for speaking engagements to be in front of your audience too. What else have we done? Just about business people. I'm looking around municipalities. We just finished the centennial book for Lake Park. We're talking about a second book for the mayor of West Palm Beach. We did a book for Jerry Muyo. We've done a half dozen books for Palm Beach. And one of the interesting things about the way we do this is many of these books, the community books, are underwritten. For instance, we did a book called Music and Memories. We just interviewed people all over Palm Beach County about why they love music or why they perform or what they do. And it was underwritten by Lois Pope, Lawrence Mullins, plastic surgeons, Dick Robinson. So it's funded, but then this becomes a gift for the galas instead of a coffee cup or a pen. And they love it. So many of our books, many of our Palm Beach books have become gala gifts. So that allows us to put books into the hands of a high-end, affluent audience to target your market. And we've right before COVID, I think we distributed over 9,000 books that way. Sure. Civics groups, chambers of commerce, galas, that sort of thing.
So Brenda, where do you think your specialty lies in the current business? So obviously with a lot of background as an entrepreneur, but in terms of focusing and really targeting down on book development, is it writing? Is it design? Is it like, what is editing? What is your kind of passion in that?
Well, it all has to fit together. It all has to fit together. And most people don't really have a vision. I mean, clearly the artists, Bruce and Sandy, have clear ideas, but being able to help them with the concept, with the message, with the design, clearly with the editing and proofreading and all. We are a producer, just like a film producer. We just pull in from everywhere, and the client approves and changes every step of the way. They own the copyright, and it's just, as I said, it's fun, it's creative, it's interesting, it's different, and we never know who'll call next. We just got a call across the state who somehow, literally on the East Coast, somehow had ended up with a Lantana book. We did Lantana's centennial, and this is Belle Isle, I think, is the name of the town they called. Okay. And they're getting ready to celebrate their centennial, so we just keep on going.
Sure. So in all of your experience as a business owner, all the way back to 5 years old, what do you think has been what's the most difficult part about being a business owner?
I thought you were going to say what was the most difficult job. Have you ever made cotton candy?
No.
That's a hard thing to do. You get fingers burned. Of course, being 5 years old probably had a little to do with it. What was the question again?
I'm just curious, of all those challenges, what did you find as the most difficult?
Prospecting. I love being creative, and I love when a project comes and the creative juices flow. So, but between projects, to me, is the most frustrating, when I actually have to call some people back and say, okay, are you ready? Which would be prospecting. Mm-hmm. But our name is on so many books that referrals are our biggest way. I don't think we ever run an ad. We don't believe in advertising and ads. We say that an ad says I need business, but a book says I'm an authority. And we also know that people throw away brochures and pamphlets. They don't know where to put it, but you can't throw away a book. This happens to be our brochure. It's going to stand out.
Yeah.
And we see these, and we knew that nobody wanted to read all about StarGroup. So we did a colorful, fun, these are little sayings, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
Sayings. But in the end, you got to get to the end of the book. Then you read about StarGroup and what we've done. And this will either end up on your coffee table or on your bookshelf. So when you are ready to do a book, you've got it. It's not in your wastebasket with a brochure. Right. And we're amazed at how many doctors' offices and law firms and desks that we see all of our books on, because you can't throw away a book.
Right. How about some advice you'd potentially give for other people either thinking about starting a business or they're new into it and maybe they're struggling a little bit? What's some advice from a multi-time entrepreneur that you would give?
Self-analysis.
Well, yeah, that would, and we still do, of course, marketing and branding go with how and why we would do a book. And depending upon the business that is being started, we'd have to analyze, who's the customer, what's the message, how are they reached? Would it be a gala? Would it be a Chamber of Commerce meeting? Would it be, how would you get your message in their hands? But at the same time, we would help them define their message. It's like building a house. You have to start with the foundation, and starting with a book, with a new business, with a clear vision of what you do and who your market would be where we would start.
So Brenda, then what is your secret sauce to your success? What has made you stand out against so many other business owners that don't quite make it, where you've made it over and over and over in different kinds of industries? What's the secret?
Besides determination.
Well, that's an important piece.
And being type A, my husband says I'm triple A. Well, this particular business, I was in the dance business 25 years. I raised my two girls doing that. And it was wonderful, but when I was finished, I was finished. This I love because it's so creative. I could do this forever. And the fact that it is so versatile, you never know who's going to call next. We've done several books in foreign languages that we don't even know what they say. We published a book for somebody in French and for somebody in Spanish, and so we do family histories, we do legacies. We prefer to work with corporate and nonprofits and larger businesses, but we do small business, but we've also done legacies, lots of poetry books.
Okay, so determination and creativity has set you apart. How about dealing with all the kids and the parents in the dance world? Was that an enjoyable portion of your jobs?
Well, I didn't have any trouble because they loved what I was doing. And fortunately, let's see, I'm trying to think, was this mid-time? This was in 76. 76, I moved to Sarasota, and within 18 months, single-handedly opened 8 separate studios in 8 separate towns.
Oh.
That was a lot. Needless to say, I did hire other teachers. Up until that point, I was pretty much the main teacher with 1 studio in each city. But fortunately, I was smart enough to realize gymnastics was becoming really big at that time. And I had a special balance beam made, a foldable to fit my car, so I could move almost a full gymnastic gym into each of the towns, so then it was dance and gymnastics, and the parents loved that. The kids loved that because that was not easy to find. And then my other big break was when Saturday Night Live came out and disco dancing came out. So I got the big mirror ball. I went to a few bars, and I'm not a bar person, to see the best dancers on the floor. Literally, one of them looked just like one of the Bee Gees. He looked exactly like one of the Bee Gees. So I got the best dancers that did all the fancy stuff. And we would perform. At that time, I didn't even need a permit to go in the biggest malls in the towns and do what we called expos. So we would have gymnastics, we would have mime, we had mime classes, disco dancers. We created so much excitement that the parents loved it because it was creative. The children loved it. I never had any parent problems, thank goodness.
That's
Yeah.
great. And then, okay, so StarGroup International, what's the future look like for that business? Where are you taking it?
Well, we seem to be, I don't know that we're taking it, but it seems that municipalities and nonprofits are discovering us more.
And Centennial's happening statewide.
And with the municipalities, the centennials, and we did some research the other night because I think a half dozen of our books are centennial books, and they found us. But we did some research on the computer, and interestingly enough, Florida started, it was maybe 50, 75 incorporated cities were in like 23 to 26, 1923 to
Right, so you got a
1926.
bunch of new business opportunities coming
Oh,
up.
so needless to say, that's our next target. Just in case they don't know about us, we're gonna tap them on the shoulder. But those are easy. We love the medical world. I'm a big functional person. We're working with several physicians to tell their story. Why are they different? How is it different?
Sure.
And of course, business people always. It just it really, it's hard to pinpoint it. We love to do art books.
Well, clearly,
We've done a few children's books.
yeah, clearly you're doing something right, and you have for a very long time. Certainly been a pleasure to learn more about you and StarGroup International and all those other businesses you had growing up, leading you to this. So if anybody needs a book made, published, Brenda Star is the place to go. Brenda, thank you so much for your time today.
And if you really need any cotton candy or Kool-Aid, I might be able to help you out.
All right, just another resume builder. Thank you, Brenda, so much. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate your time.